Hello, you're watching News 9 Live, and our top story at this hour, senior Congress leader Chidambaram has warned his party that the recent assembly poll results show that the wind is in favor of the BJP ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. In an interview with the news agency PTI, Chidambaram said that it's high time the opposition understands that the BJP approaches every election as if it were its last battle. Chidambaram has described the Congress's defeat in Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan as worrisome and emphasized that there is a need to focus on addressing internal weaknesses. Chidambaram suggested that by actively participating in election campaigns, addressing issues such as booth management and ensuring the participation of reluctant voters on polling days, the party's vote percentage could increase up to 45% in Lok Sabha elections. Reactions poured in over Chidambaram's statement. Take a listen.
बड़े नेता हैं या बड़े नेता थे और उनके द्वारा स्टेटमेंट एडमिट फैक्ट है कि वो चुनावों को बहुत हल्का लेते हैं और वो स्वीकार कर रहे हैं कि बीजेपी चुनाव को बहुत गंभीरता से लेती है और जीतने की स्थिति से लेती है। यही नाश जाएगा विपक्ष का, और विपक्ष में सबसे बड़ी पार्टी कांग्रेस है। ये खुद भी डूबेंगे, हम सारे विपक्षों को लेकर के डूबेंगे। ये लोग, इनको तैयारी खुद करनी चाहिए और लौटना चाहिए, इस पर काम करना चाहिए, बजाय कुछ भी बोल दो।
देखिए, कांग्रेस ने इस देश में 60-65 साल राज किया और भारतीय जनता पार्टी को मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में अभी 10 ही साल हुए हैं। अभी तो हमारे बहुत साल बचे हैं। हम लोग जो है ये केवल चुनाव के लिए काम नहीं करते, इस देश को जो है बहुत ही सबल, बहुत ही सक्षम, दुनिया का सिरमौर देश बनाने के लिए काम करते हैं। और रात दिन जब से जो है 2019 तभी से हमारा चुनाव की तैयारी है। हम लोग जो है अंतिम चुनाव की कोई बात ही नहीं है, 2024 भी जीतेंगे और 29 भी जीतने वाले हैं।
हम उनकी इस वक्तव्य का स्वागत करते हैं, इसमें कहीं कोई दो राय नहीं कि अब जो है विपक्ष भी मानने लगा है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी का जो संगठन है वो इतना मजबूत है और धरातल पर सबसे ज्यादा मजबूत है। हमारा एक ही कार्यकर्ता जो है वो इस शिद्दत के साथ चुनाव लड़ता है कि जैसे ये उसका आखिरी चुनाव है। और इससे भी ज्यादा बड़ी बात जो है हमारे आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में, कि जो हमें हमेशा यही मार्गदर्शन करते रहते हैं कि आपको जो है, अगर आप जीतते हैं तो आपको घमंड नहीं करना है, और अगर आप चुनाव हारते हैं तो आपको उससे सीखना है। और हम लोग जो है, अगर चुनाव हम हारते हैं तो हम लोग तुरंत प्रभाव से अगले दिन से ही इस समीक्षा में जुट जाते हैं कि हमारी कमी क्या रही है, उस कमी को हम कैसे दुरुस्त कर सकते हैं। तो मुझे बहुत खुशी है कि आज विपक्ष भी ये मानता है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी का संगठन जो है बहुत मजबूत संगठन है, और हम सभी अपने कार्यकर्ताओं की बदौलत जो है 2024 का चुनाव भी माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में जीतने वाले हैं। देखिए, ये तो उन्होंने अपना प्रदर्शन सभी आप लोगों के समक्ष दिखाई दिया है। ये जो 5 राज्यों के चुनाव हुए हैं उसके अंदर जो उनकी पोजीशन है, नोटा से भी जो कम उनको वोट आए हैं, तो इससे बिल्कुल साफ जाहिर होता है कि जो है जनता उनको कितना पसंद है।
The meeting of India bloc party leaders on Tuesday is likely to focus on seat sharing in key states, with some leaders pushing for an agreement before the 31st of December and on redrawing the joint strategy to take on the BJP after the recent reverses for the Congress party in assembly polls. The key challenge before the leaders of several opposition parties who have come together to fight the BJP unitedly in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections is also to come up with an alternative common program as a counter to the BJP's public schemes.
अगर किसी में इंडी गठबंधन में हिम्मत है तो एक व्यक्ति जाके नरेंद्र मोदी से बनारस लड़ ले, चुनाव में नीतीश कुमार हो या आरजेडी का कोई हो। अरे ये सब आईवास है, अपने स्वार्थों के लिए जा रहा है, अपने गुनाहों को छिपाने के लिए गठबंधन कर रहा है। किसी में हिम्मत नहीं, अगर हिम्मत है तो चुनौती दे रहा हूँ, नीतीश कुमार जाके लड़ ले बनारस।
सुबह जो मीटिंग मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे का घर पे होते हैं, ये एक रेगुलर मीटिंग हो गई। ये संसद में हम लोगों का स्टाइल ऑफ एक्शन प्लान्स, प्रोग्राम्स, फ्लोर मैनेजमेंट कैसे करेंगे एक दूसरे पार्टी को साथ, ये विषय पर चर्चा हो जाते हैं। इट इज द parliamentary party leaders both of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha of the इंडिया अलायंस पार्टीज। और इंडिया अलायंस में जो आज 4th मीटिंग होंगे, हमारे नेत्री ममता बनर्जी पहले से बताते हैं कि मीटिंग तो हो गए 3 दफे, इस बार सीट शेयरिंग के बारे में बात करना बहुत जरूरी होता है। ये 543 सीट्स का बीच में कम से कम हम लोगों को तो टारगेट होना चाहिए कि 450 सीट तक हम लोग 1:1 फाइट पर चले। और ममता बनर्जी बहुत आशा लेके इस बार आए हैं कि ये सीट शेयरिंग का प्रोसेस यही सबसे पहले होना जरूरत है। 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ये गुणने से क्या होगा? तो मीटिंग शुड बी रिजल्ट ओरिएंटेड, मीटिंग शुड बी विथ वेरी मच विथ ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, और लोग फल देखना चाहते हैं। चुनाव आज भी लोग पूछते हैं कि दादा क्या ये राम मंदिर का बाद ही सरकार चुनाव घोषणा कर देंगे? तो ये सरकार क्या करेंगे ना करेंगे कुछ का कुछ पता नहीं है, क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री खुद पार्लियामेंट में, संसद भवन में नहीं आती है। कुछ पूछने का कोई मौका भी नहीं है। इसीलिए हम लोग सोचते हैं कि ये 4th मीटिंग जो काल होंगे वो फलदायक होगा।
Speaker Om Birla gave a statement on Parliament breach amidst opposition ruckus. The opposition protested the suspension of MPs and demanded a statement from the Home Minister.
आप सभी भलीभांति अवगत है कि हमारे सदन में पूर्व में भी ऐसी घटनाएं कई बार हो चुकी है। सदन के अंदर आगंतुक और पिस्तौल लाने वाली, नारेबाजी वाली और दर्शक में कूदने वाली, पर्चे फेंकने वाली घटनाएं पूर्व में भी हुई थी। लेकिन उन सब घटनाओं पर भी माननीय सदस्यों ने विशेष रूप से सामूहिकता से काम किया था। इस सदन में स्प्रे फेंकने जैसी घटना भी हुई, लेकिन हम सब ने ऐसी घटनाओं के विरोध में एक स्वर में एक साथ मिलकर दृढ़ संकल्प लिया था। आप सभी भलीभांति परिचित हैं कि संसद की सुरक्षा का क्षेत्राधिकार संसद सचिवालय के अंतर्गत आता है। इसलिए सुरक्षा के विषय में जो भी कार्य योजना बनाएगी वह संसद बनाएगी, आपसे विचार विमर्श करके बनाएंगे और ठोस कार्य योजना बनाएंगे। पूर्व में भी ऐसी जब घटना घटी थी, जब तत्कालीन अध्यक्षों ने ही उस पर संज्ञान लिया था और उस घटना पर कार्रवाई की थी। ये दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है कि हम इस घटनाओं को लेकर कुछ राजनीति कर रहे हैं। ये किसी भी तरह की राजनीति करने वाली घटनाएं नहीं है और इस घटना से कभी भी निलंबन जो माननीय सदस्यों है उस घटना से संबंध भी नहीं है। ये घटना अलग है और निलंबन का संबंध केवल संसद की गरिमा बनी रहे, उसकी प्रतिष्ठा बनी रहे, ये सबकी हमारी जिम्मेदारी है। मुझे दुख है, मैं कभी किसी माननीय सदस्य का निलंबन नहीं करना चाहता। मुझे बहुत व्यक्तिगत पीड़ा भी होती है कि जो मेरे माननीय सदस्य हैं उनका निलंबन करूं, लेकिन संसद की मर्यादा बनाए रखना, संसद की गरिमा बनाए रखना हम सबकी जिम्मेदारी, विशेष रूप से आपकी भी उतनी जिम्मेदारी है। और इसलिए संसद की परंपराओं परिपाटियों का श्रेष्ठ पालन हो। और जब नई संसद बनी थी तो हमने बैठकर सब दलों के नेताओं से चर्चा भी की थी कि हम तख्ती लेकर नहीं आएंगे, सदन की उच्च कोटि की गरिमा मर्यादा को बना के रखेंगे और किसी तरीके से हंगामा नहीं करेंगे। देश की जनता भी ऐसे आचरण को कतई पसंद नहीं करती है। इसलिए मेरा आपसे आग्रह है कि हम सब इस अपेक्षा के साथ कि ऐसी घटना न घटे और सदन के अंदर भी गरिमा बनी रहे।
In a strategic move ahead of Lok Sabha elections 2024, the Congress has launched a nationwide crowdfunding campaign titled Donate for Desh, a campaign that aims to generate resources for the party. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge officially inaugurated the digital phase with the physical campaign including door-to-door collections commencing on 28th of December. The treasurer of the Congress party has asked Indian citizens aged 18 and above to contribute a minimum of Rs 138 or its multiples.
आज बड़ा एक खुशी का दिन है कि हमारे पार्टी के सभी नेताओं ने मिलकर एक ऐप तैयार किया है और ये मैं समझूंगा ये पहली बार है कि कांग्रेस पार्टी में लोगों से यानी आम जनता से मदद लेकर देश को बनाने के लिए ये किया है, जिसको डोनेट फॉर देश कंट्री और हम अगर कहें तो देनी देश के लिए डोनेशन, ये सब देश के बनाने में हमको मदद होता है और छोटे छोटे डोनर्स के पास हम अपना डोनेशन लेके देश को बना सकते हैं, क्योंकि सिर्फ अमीरों के ऊपर ही अगर आप भरोसा करके काम करते जाएंगे तो ये कल के दिन उनके कार्यक्रम को और उनके पॉलिसीज़ को हमको मानना पड़ता है। जब देश के सारे लोग इसमें इन्वॉल्व हो गए तो ये हमको सबकी जो पहले से ही हमारी पार्टी गरीबों के और जो बैकवर्ड्स है, शेड्यूल कास्ट है, माइनॉरिटीज़ है और कोई भी कास्ट का हो, अपर कास्ट हो, गरीब है, वो ऐसे ही लोग पहले से हमको मदद करते हुए आए हैं और इसी ढंग से महात्मा गांधी जी भी सब लोगों से डोनेशन लेकर ही देश को आज़ाद कराया है।
Now, to facilitate donations, the party allows contributions through its official website and has also established a dedicated website. State units have been tasked with raising awareness through press conferences and social media, while party workers and volunteers aim to reach at least 10 houses in every booth for contributions. The party also claims of drawing inspiration for crowdfunding campaign from Mahatma Gandhi's historic Tilak Swaraj Fund, initiated over a century ago in 1920-21. Moving on, the NIA has undertaken extensive raids at over 20 locations in Bengaluru. This operation is in response to intelligence indicating that miscreants were plotting terrorist activities and engaging in anti-national endeavours. The NIA searchers covered all divisions of Bengaluru city with a particular focus on areas where the Social Democratic Party of India or SDPI has a significant presence. The ongoing searches are concentrated in key neighbourhoods including Shivaji Nagar, Halasuru, Fraser Town and Pulakeshi Nagar. Some news from Tamil Nadu. Heavy rainfall has lashed southern parts of Tamil Nadu even as the government has declared a holiday for all schools, colleges as well as banks. The 4 districts of Tirunelveli, Thoothukudi, Kanyakumari and Tenkasi bore the brunt of heavy rains. The Indian Meteorological Department has issued a heavy rain alert for the state for the next 7 days. The Kutralam waterfall, which is a tourist spot, was in its full splendor due to incessant heavy rainfall in Tenkasi district. Tiruchendur and Sathanakulam stations in Thoothukudi district recorded 606 mm of rainfall in the past 24 hours. Palayamkote station located in Tirunelveli recorded 260 mm of rainfall in the last one day. The IMD has declared a red alert over a few places in Madurai, Virudhunagar and Theni districts. Meanwhile, an orange alert has been issued by weather agencies over isolated places in Thoothukudi, Dindigul, Coimbatore and Tirupur districts. And from Tamil Nadu to the national capital, Delhi, which is in a grip of a cold wave and experienced dense fog, and several areas in the north and northeast India face similar conditions disrupting normal life due to reduced visibility. According to the IMD, isolated pockets in Punjab witnessed very dense fog, while Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Assam, Meghalaya and Tripura observed shallow to moderate fog. Ayodhya is resplendent in festive colors, lights and embellishments in the lead up to the Pran Pratishtha ceremony and inauguration of the Ram temple. The entrance gate of Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Path is nearing completion, with finishing touches being given meticulously. Amid the bustling preparations, the Dashrath Mahal temple continues to attract devotees, creating a much vibrant atmosphere. A grand procession featuring an idol of Lord Rama, accompanied by musical instruments, was undertaken with splendor from the Dashrath Mahal temple in Ayodhya. The fervour and enthusiasm among the devotees reflects the profound significance of this upcoming event. In Chandigarh, Nihang Sikhs have announced their plans to organize a langar in Ayodhya during the inauguration of the Sri Ram temple, underlining the spirit of communal harmony. As the inauguration of the Ram temple in Ayodhya approaches, symbols of Lord Ram, including Akshat and an image, arrived in the city of Chandigarh, adding to the anticipation and excitement around this extremely historic moment. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the newly constructed Swarved Mandir in Omaraha in Varanasi. He was accompanied by UP CM Yogi Adityanath as well. Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the second edition of the Kashi Tamil Sangamam at Namoghat in Varanasi. Additionally, he flagged off the Kashi Tamil Sangamam Express connecting Varanasi with Kanyakumari. Modi is also set to launch multiple development projects amounting to rupees 19,150 crores.
आपको याद होगा 2 वर्ष पहले इसी तरह हम अखिल भारतीय विहंगम योग संस्थान के वार्षिकोत्सव में एकत्र हुए थे। एक बार फिर मुझे विहंगम योग संत समाज के शताब्दी समारोह के ऐतिहासिक कार्यक्रम में आने का अवसर मिला है। विहंगम योग साधना की ये यात्रा 100 वर्षों की अपनी अविस्मरणीय यात्रा पूरी की है। महर्षि सदाफल देव जी ने पिछली सदी में ज्ञान और योग की दिव्य ज्योति प्रज्वलित की थी। इन 100 वर्षों की यात्रा में इस दिव्य ज्योति ने देश दुनिया के लाखों करोड़ों लोगों के जीवन को परिवर्तित किया है। इस पुण्य अवसर पर यहां 25,000 कुंडीय स्वरवेद ज्ञान महायज्ञ का आयोजन भी हो रहा है। मुझे खुशी है, मुझे विश्वास है, इस महायज्ञ की हर एक आहुति से विकसित भारत का संकल्प और सशक्त होगा।
News coming in that underworld don Dawood Ibrahim has been hospitalized in Karachi, Pakistan, reportedly due to a severe health issue with speculation of poisoning. However, official sources are discounting the news of the infamous kingpin's poisoning. Now, Dawood has been in hospital for 2 days, but there has been no official statement as yet. Dawood is supposed to be under strict security as the sole patient on his hospital floor, accessible only to top authorities and close family members. Mumbai police are reportedly seeking information from Dawood's relatives, Alisha Parker and Sajid Vagale. In January, Hasina Parker's son revealed to the National Investigating Agency that Dawood, after a second marriage, resides in Karachi. The NIA charge sheet also suggests Dawood and his associates control Karachi airport in Pakistan. The 65-year-old fugitive, long wanted by Indian authorities, has been managing to elude law enforcement agencies globally. Interestingly, many enemies of India who have been seeking refuge in safe havens across the world are finding that they are no longer secure, with many anti-India elements being assassinated by unknown hitmen or individuals in the recent past. Take a look. Now, Lashkar-e-Taiba's Rayaz Ahmed was shot dead in a mosque during Friday prayers in September this year. Hizbul Mujahideen commander Bashir Ahmed Peer alias Imtiaz Alam was killed by unknown gunmen outside a shop in Rawalpindi in February. Khalistani separatist Hardeep Singh Nijjar was shot dead in the parking lot of a Gurudwara in Canada in June. Shahid Latif of the Jaish-e-Mohammed was killed in Pakistan in a mosque complex in October. Pakistan's ISI's Lal Mohammed was killed in Nepal outside his hideout in September. Khalistan Commando Force Chief Paramjit Singh Panjwar alias Malik Sardar Singh, a wanted terrorist in India, was shot dead by unidentified gunmen while he was out on a morning walk near his residence in Pakistan's Lahore. Time for a break, but lots more coming on the other side. Don't go away.
Yes, the scale of the attack surprised us.
When you get a series of alerts, 16 intelligence alerts, if Maharashtra government at that time had alerted the Coast Guard and the Navy, this 2611 would not have happened at all.
And one of the details they had planned was to use these dhagas to mislead the investigative agencies.
All this was to be presented as a Hindu terror.
So it was a Pakistan operation. The LET was the front end.
As the attacks were on, it was clear that they were planned and launched from Pakistani territory.
For all of those victims of terror that was exported from Pakistan over the years, including but not limited to 26/11.
This and more, streaming on world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus. Download now.
Currently, the industry is facing a lot of challenges as far as demand is concerned. Basically, that US markets has slowed down because of high inflation.
So obviously, diamonds being a dream product, something which doesn't have a utility value or is seen as a luxury. So that obviously goes off your shopping list. That's the first item that will go off your shopping list, especially in recessionary trends.
That lab-grown diamonds are not mined, and they do away with the entire mining. So they save up on all the environmental damage that is associated with mining, and of course, the mining cost, which is why they're even more affordable.
People that is impacted by all these recessions are the artisans, are the people who work in this industry, right? But I think lab-grown diamond has allowed them to actually use their skills in the same product.
This and more, streaming on world's first news OTT, News 9 Plus. Download now.
With all this gear, you must be wondering if I'm climbing a mountain. Well, let me give you a wider look of this place. This is Asia's largest mountain of shame.
A mountain of waste, almost the height of the Qutub Minar.
When you enter capital cities of some of the biggest countries in the world, you don't have 3 garbage mountains waiting to welcome you, depending on whichever side of the city you enter from.
The thing is that a lot of times we talk about landfills only when there's a fire at the landfill. You need to understand that a landfill is at fire almost throughout the year. It's only when the firefighters are not able to douse the fire is when it actually catches the nation's attention, the city's attention, or media attention.
The towering landfills worsen one of Delhi's biggest problems: pollution.
यहाँ पर आप रात को आओ, दिन में आओ, आप 1 घंटे बैठ नहीं सकते बाहर। इतनी धूल, प्रदूषण, महक, आप खाना भी नहीं खा सकते बाहर बैठ के।
Life around the landfill is a curse.
हमारे घर में जो बड़े हैं, उन्हें अस्थमा के वो पेशेंट है, आए दिन उनको नेबुलाइजर लगाना पड़ता है।
डॉक्टर ने भी मुझे ये चीज बोला कि यहाँ का एरिया छोड़ के कहीं और चाहिए।
Delhi's garbage mountains are now a fetid symbol of the national capital's trash problem. The question is, who is to be blamed? Watch Delhi's Garbage Mountains. Streaming on News 9 Plus for the Genflix.
The following content may contain visuals that are disturbing, graphic, or sensitive in nature. Viewer discretion is advised. This material is intended for mature audiences and may not be suitable for all viewers. Please exercise caution while watching, and if you find such content distressing, we recommend discontinuing viewing. This disclaimer is provided to ensure awareness and to prioritize viewer well-being.
The war between Israel and Hamas has now entered its 73rd day. Let's get you the latest updates from the war front. According to Israel, it has discovered biggest Hamas tunnel in Gaza. IDF claims to have taken operational control over parts of Khan Yunis. Israeli strikes killed 90 Gazans in Jabalia refugee camp, according to the Gaza Health Ministry. 70% of Gazans killed in war are women and children, according to the Gaza Ministry of Health. 478 trucks sent to the Rafah crossing in Egypt, according to Israel. Brother of Israeli hostage mistakenly killed by IDF says army murdered him. US to press Israel to define war milestones. According to US Defense Secretary Lord Austin, will push Israeli officials to define milestones for its war against Hamas in Gaza, according to reports. Israeli forces fighting Hamas in Gaza claim to have uncovered an unusually large concrete and iron-girded tunnel designed to carry carloads of terrorists from Gaza right up to the border. Here's a report.
Israeli forces battling Hamas said they had uncovered an unusually large concrete and iron-girded tunnel at the Gaza-Israel border designed to transport carloads of militant fighters. Chief Israeli military spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said the tunnel was 4 kilometers or 2.5 miles long, stretching from Gaza City, once the heart of Hamas governance and now a devastated combat zone, to the Erez crossing at the Israeli border.
Without demolishing the tunnel project of Hamas, we cannot demolish Hamas.
Razing or disabling hundreds of kilometers of underground passages and bunkers is among the aims of the Israeli offensive. The military showed reporters the exit point of the tunnel, located just 100 meters south of the checkpoint at Erez. The Erez crossing is one of the sites Hamas overran on October 7th, killing 1,200 Israelis and taking 240 others hostage. Hagari said it was the biggest tunnel Israeli forces have found near the border, without specifying whether it was used by Hamas for the October 7th attack. Generally, the tunnels shown to the media by the group, or by the Israeli military after their discovery, have been narrow and low, designed for single-file movement of gunmen on foot. The tunnel shown by Hagari had shafts plunging vertically downward that he said suggested it was part of a wider network. Hamas did not respond to a Reuters request for comment on the Israeli account. Since the October 7th attack, Israel has besieged Gaza and laid much of the Palestinian enclave to waste. Around 19,000 Palestinians have been killed, according to Gaza health officials, with thousands more suspected buried in the rubble of Israeli airstrikes.
On Sunday, the IDF released a video claiming to show Mohammed Sinwar, the brother of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, traveling in a car through a massive 4-kilometer long and 50-meter deep strategic level tunnel near the Erez crossing in Gaza. Israeli forces engaged in combat with Hamas in Gaza asserted that they uncovered the biggest Hamas tunnel near Gaza. The chief military spokesperson, Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari, while showing the tunnel to the media, described it as Sinwar's secret and said that millions of dollars had been invested in the project. In a silent video, Sinwar can be seen giving instructions to the driver as they travel through the tunnel. Airstrikes in the Gaza Strip have killed at least 100 people over the last 24 hours as Israel's leadership faces growing international pressure for a ceasefire and calls at home to resume hostage negotiations after the Israeli army shot and killed 3 men kidnapped by Hamas. The health ministry in the Hamas-run Palestinian territory said on Sunday that at least 90 people had been killed by Israeli bombardment in the Jabalia camp in the north, and another 12 had died in bombings in the central city of Deir al-Balah, as fighting was reported in several parts of Gaza. The Palestinian Health Ministry reported that at least 5 Palestinians were killed on Sunday in an Israeli attack on Tulkarm in the occupied West Bank. 2 individuals were shot dead by Israeli forces on the same day. The Health Ministry added that another Palestinian also died on Sunday after sustaining injuries in an Israeli attack in the West Bank city of Jenin a few days ago. The Israeli military said that it has been intensifying operations against Palestinian militant groups in the West Bank. On Thursday, Israel confirmed killing more than 10 people it referred to as terrorists in raids in Jenin, where several militant groups have a presence. The Israeli military released footage on Saturday claiming to show its troops assaulting a tunnel shaft occupied by Palestinian militant. In the video, soldiers can be seen shooting and throwing grenades at an opening in the ground.
Desh! Desh! Shamesh! כל הכוחות חדל זורק ליפות! זורק ליפות! תן לשמש! קוד 104 חיובי, אויב ודאי בתוך הפיר, זרקתי רימון, ככל הנראה הושמד. כרגע זורק עוד רימון. תן לשמש.
The Israeli military stated that its forces had killed a militant hiding in the shaft and destroyed the tunnel. Israel stepped up its bombardment of Gaza overnight and into Sunday after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu argued that the only way to secure the release of hostages was intense military pressure on Hamas.
Israel stepped up its bombardment of Gaza overnight and into Sunday, Palestinians said, adding that dozens of people were killed. It comes after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu argued the only way to secure the release of hostages was intense military pressure on Hamas. The attacks also follow Friday talks between Israel's spy chief and the Prime Minister of Qatar, which mediated earlier hostage releases in return for a week-long ceasefire and the freeing of Palestinian prisoners. That's according to a source with knowledge of the matter. Residents and militants say Israeli attacks took place amid fierce fighting the length of the coastal enclave. Communications were also down for a 4th day, making it hard to reach the wounded. Hamas militants say they will not discuss freeing any more of those captured when they attacked southern Israel on October 7th. If Israel continues the war on Gaza, it unleashed in response. With no signs of compromise, violence has intensified. In Khan Yunis, injured Palestinians were rushed in ambulances and on donkey carts to Nasser Hospital after what they say was an Israeli airstrike on the UN Palestinian Refugee Agency's school. Where is safe, says this man, adding he's worried about getting killed while in the hospital. Israeli missile strikes also hit a house, killing at least 24 people and wounding dozens of others in the Jabalia refugee camp in northern Gaza, Hamas Aqsa Radio said, citing the health ministry. Health officials were not available for immediate comment. Israel said it had operated against terrorist targets. Meanwhile, in Tel Aviv, the frustrated families of hostages held in Gaza set up a campsite near Israel's defense ministry. They vowed to stay there until the government secures a deal with Hamas to release their loved ones.
It's important for me to be here today because we need to put more pressure on the government to remind them that the hostage situation must be ended with a deal, and the deal must be right now because we don't have any more time to waste. We cannot wait for them to try to rescue them by army with army forces. It needs to be with diplomatic deal, by a negotiation.
Around 19,000 Palestinians have been killed, according to Gaza health officials, and thousands buried in the rubble of Israeli airstrikes since October 7th. Israel says Hamas militants killed 1,200 people and captured 240 hostages in their surprise raid that day.
Alan Lulu Shamras, an Israeli man who was among 3 hostages mistakenly shot dead by the Israeli army in Gaza, was laid to rest at a funeral in Israel on Sunday.
החל ממשוואות עם 4 נעלמים ועד בעיות אנושיות ייפול ממדרגה ופעם תעלה על מקפצה.
לא למען זה נלחמנו, הפכנו עולם למענך.
That's not what we fought for. We changed the world for you. My child, you were strong, determined, smart. You were a hero. You survived 70 days in hell. I know you felt us all the time, the way we felt you. Another moment and you were in my arms. We will continue to live for you. We will continue to breathe for you. We will continue to be for you. We have missed you for so long. Sadness has no end. I love you, Mum.
חבלים נפלו לי בנעימים, אף נחלת שופרה עליו. לא תיתן חסידך לראות שחת. תודיעני אורח חיים, סובה שמחות את פניך, נעימות בימינך נצח.
According to a World Health Organization worker, Gaza City's Al-Shifa hospital is completely overwhelmed and can only provide the most basic care to patients. In a video published on social media, WHO Emergency Medical Team's coordinator, Sean Casey, said Shifa Hospital has been reduced to a trauma stabilization point.
We're currently in Al-Shifa Hospital in northern Gaza, which is the largest hospital here in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip. It's completely overwhelmed with patients, very few staff remaining. As we've been here for the last 30 minutes, there's been a non-stop stream of injured people coming in on trolleys, on donkey carts, on stretchers being pushed down the road. There are almost no medical staff here. This largest referral hospital here in Gaza has become a trauma stabilization point. They can only provide the most basic care for people with very serious injuries and very serious illnesses. There are women delivering in these common spaces that are just absolutely packed to the brim. Most patients are on the floor. A few are in beds and stretchers behind me. The emergency department is just covered in blood and there are very few staff. Children are being treated on the floor for serious injuries, for burns, for open wounds. They're struggling to get operating theaters working again. There's no intensive care capacity and it's almost impossible to transfer patients out of Shifa. It's absolute chaos.
Republican frontrunner Donald Trump declared plans for the largest deportation in American history if re-elected in 2024. During a Reno rally, he labeled President Joe Biden a low IQ individual and the worst, most incompetent and most corrupt president in U.S. history a day earlier. Donald Trump in New Hampshire accused undocumented immigrants of poisoning the blood of our country using language criticized as xenophobic and echoing Nazi rhetoric. He emphasized the stance amid concerns about the record number of migrants attempting illegal U.S. border crossing.
Given the unprecedented millions of Biden illegal aliens who are invading our country, it is only common sense that when I'm re-elected, we will begin, and we have no choice, the largest deportation operation in American history. We have no choice. Joe Biden and the Democrat Party are incapable of solving any problem. There's not a problem they've been able to solve. Crooked Joe is a you know this. Did you ever hear this? Crooked Joe is a low IQ individual. And he is truly the worst, most incompetent, and most corrupt president in the history of our country. In fact, Jimmy Carter is very happy because he looks like that was a brilliant administration by comparison to what you have right now.
Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy vowed to pardon all peaceful protesters involved in the 6 January 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. Speaking at the Turning Point Action Conference, he criticized the incident, suggesting it appeared to be an international intelligence failure. 538, a polling and analysis website, indicates Ramaswamy has 4% support amongst Republican primary voters, while Donald Trump leads with approximately 63%.
And I think you got to ask yourself, why am I the only candidate in this race who can say certain things? That January 6th was the product of entrapment, that our money is being sent to persecute Christians from Ukraine to Armenia, something you're not supposed to talk about, to the fact that the climate change agenda is a hoax because it has nothing to do with the climate and everything to do with China.
That's all we have in this bulletin. Thank you for watching.
On October 27, 2023, the world awakened to a new crisis. A new turn in a 70 years old civil war. One that has grave implications